For context, I live with my wife and daughter. I own a few acres in Geauga County, Ohio. My property is on an interstate directly across the street from a state park. It's a decently sized park with a couple of lakes and abundant albeit fairly generic wildlife. Deer, raccoons, coyotes, opossums, foxes, and beavers are not uncommon for me to see. Be me. Late summer 2022. Chatting with some friends on my PC. My dog starts going apeshit in the backyard. She is a black, 60-ish pound Beagle Lab mix and is usually a very quiet, non-vocal dog, so her hollering has me a bit alarmed. Go check it out. Wearing my wireless headphones that have pretty decent range throughout my house, so I can continue talking to my friends. Inform them about what I'm doing so we can pause our heated conversation. Expect to encounter a raccoon or a possum since I recently lost a couple chickens to a nocturnal predator, so I grabbed the double-barrel 12-gauge break-action fun gun I keep above the back door. Open my back door and see my dog barking with her back to me. We are illuminated by my motion-sensitive floodlights that do a decent job of lighting up a 30-yard radius of my deck and surrounding yard, woods. I tell her to calm down. She keeps barking. Almost ignoring that I'm even there, she's just barking her furry face off at a lone bush about 10 yards away from my back door. As I'm telling her to shush, I see what I can only describe as the top hemisphere of a volleyball poking up from behind the bush. It was bright white and almost fuzzy from the floodlights. As soon as my brain is capable of saying WTF, it violently jerks downward, fully obstructing itself from us with the bush. I am still thinking in terms of raccoons, a possum, maybe even deer. I'm still trying to process what this is, but I already know that it has nowhere to go without exposing itself to me. There are only two options for egress. 1. Up the nearest tree, which is 5 yards to the right of the bush and still, another 80 feet from the ground to the first branch. 2. Directly away from the house up a hill fully exposed. My dog's jimmies are fully rustled, barking non-stop at the bush like shoot the bush I'm barking at, you dipshit. Shoulder the shotgun. Headset begins squealing. Knock the cans off my ears and the headset neatly wraps around my neck, still shrieking but not directly into my ear. Quickly think about how it is going to suck to discharge this 12-gauge without any kind of ear pro. Fuckit.jpg. Push the bush. Floodlights begin flickering. Headset screeching. As the lights and noise crescendo, I clear the left side of the bush. Headset stops. Floodlights stop. Dog stops but is still noticeably upset. Scratch my head for a second and look around. Nothing. Nothing in the closest trees. Nothing inside the bush. Whatever it was, it had no means of leaving the cover of the bush without being fully exposed to me. Ground directly behind the bush is noticeably lower than in front. Then it hits me. Now I realize that whatever it is had to have been at least as tall as me, 6 feet, to clear the height of the bush from where it was standing in this depression behind the bush. Dog whines. I'm now hearing how deafeningly quiet it is. These woods are usually alive with the sound of insects and amphibians. Still scanning for details. Soft, loamy soil behind bush. No tracks. Nothing. My hair is standing straight up. I can feel something profoundly foreign and primal screaming in the back of my mind. I don't just feel like I'm being watched, I know that I'm being watched. Take one last look around expecting to see my neighbor standing right behind me or something equally off-putting. More nothing. Get my dog and take her back inside. From me walking outside to going back inside was about 45 seconds, maybe 1 minute. When I shut the door, I hear my wife ask if Fuke was all that about. While putting the gun away, I tell her that the dog was barking at something and there was a brownout. My daughter says my iPad turned off and it wasn't even plugged in. So how could it be a brownout? I instinctively pull my phone out of my pocket and can see that it's turned off. Turn it on. 87% charge. Ask to see my wife's phone. Same thing, but her battery was in the 60s. Realize my headset is turned off too. Turn it on. Hear my friends talking. They tell me that they could hear everything including the screeching, then abruptly nothing. Experience 2. Be me. Late February 2023. About 1:30 a.m. Full moon. There had been some rain the previous evening that had frozen, and a nice light layer of flurries topped it off like powdered sugar, making the evening even brighter than normal. I log off my PC and start tiptoeing to my bedroom to not wake everyone. Out of my dining room window I can very clearly see up that previously mentioned hill into the woods. As I pass that window I glance out and see what I immediately assume to be my dog running towards the house at full speed. My immediate thought is, oh shit, I left my damn dog outside. Jesus Christ, how could you be such a terrible dog owner, Anon? My second thought is, thankfully you turned off the security light switch when you let her out so you don't wake the rooster up. I get my phone out of my pocket and turn on the flashlight. As I open the door my third thought is, I'm pretty sure I let her back in the house. Then my shitty phone light lands upon something that doesn't look right at all. It looks like a photo-negative star, that's the best way I can describe it. It looks like long magnetic solar prominences emanating from its surface, waving and undulating all over the place, almost like tentacles but not. Whatever it is pitch black even with the light shining directly on it. When I shut the door I hear my wife ask the fuck was all that about. While putting the gun away I tell her that the dog was barking at something and there was a brownout. My daughter says my iPad turned off and it wasn't even plugged in. So how could it be a brownout? I instinctively pull my phone out of my pocket and can see that it's turned off. Turn it on. 87% charge. Ask to see my wife's phone. Same thing, but her battery was in the 60s. Realize my headset is turned off too. Turn it on. Hear my friends talking. They tell me that they could hear everything including the screeching, then abruptly nothing. Experience 2. Be me. Late February 2023. About 1:30 a.m. Full moon. There had been some rain the previous evening that had frozen, and a nice light layer of flurries topped it off like powdered sugar, making the evening even brighter than normal. I log off my PC and start tiptoeing to my bedroom to not wake everyone. Out of my dining room window I can very clearly see up that previously mentioned hill into the woods. As I pass that window I glance out and see what I immediately assume to be my dog running towards the house at full speed. My immediate thought is, oh shit, I left my damn dog outside. Jesus Christ, how could you be such a terrible dog owner, Anon? My second thought is, thankfully you turned off the security light switch when you let her out so you don't wake the rooster up. I get my phone out of my pocket and turn on the flashlight. As I open the door my third thought is, I'm pretty sure I let her back in the house. Then my shitty phone light lands upon something that doesn't look right at all. It looks like a photo-negative star, that's the best way I can describe it. It looks like long magnetic solar prominences emanating from its surface, waving and undulating all over the place, almost like tentacles but not. Whatever it is pitch black even with the light shining directly on it.
I'm sorry I can't read this paragraph.
Be me, Olympian. Currently living deep within the Himalayas. Contact the inventor, have nature powers but it's not enough to kill the Rex Mundi or the Archons. Inventor gives me his inventions, mainly super weapons. Don't even pay him, he invents all the time and says he doesn't need these old ones. Take them back and struggle to stuff them into my secret caverns. Use nature powers to command elephants and rhinos to help me move the weapons. Rhinos refuse face.jpg. Ask them nicely. They agree. Nature powers pick up on something strange. It's the Bronze Age pervert. He shuffles autistically towards me. Are those super weapons? Nod yes. Can I have one? Contemplate it shortly. Oh fuck it, why not? 3 days later, look at news on my all-natural television. Billions dead, killed by a demigod using a super weapon. MFW. 8. Here's one I've never shared with anyone apart from the guy I went with. Be me, 20, with my mate, also 20. Decide to go and visit the abandoned house few miles from our town. Do it on the night of a full moon because extra spooks. Sky is cloudy so we can see moon. Fuck Britain. Standard 2-floor little house with big ass land, mostly forest. Get the boards off the front door, ignore all pleb signs. We go in with only torches, flashlights, not even butter knives, don't want to upset the fuss. House is all abandoned and dusty, old furniture probably from 50s still there. Take a few BW pictures because it is art. Just about to explore upstairs when suddenly the whole house starts shaking. Us being brave lads decide to turn around and run. Running I bang my head in something, makes me fall back and I land on my ass. Matey manages to stop just before hitting. What is that? Massive metal shelf with boxes all over it. We didn't see it when we came in. Realize it goes on for about 30 yards each direction, shelves in front of us, shelves behind. We decide to turn left and run until we see a massive garage door that we luckily find unlocked. Go outside and turn around to take a good look at the house. MFW, I see it. It's a fucking warehouse. Full moon in Britain sure is scary. Be me. Young kid raised like the only child. Learn to enjoy my own company. One day I now have a friend named, excluded for personal reasons. Never once could give a physical description but felt its description in mind. Never really felt protected or in danger, excluded gender, had a neutral energy to, excluded gender. One day my mother tells me clean my room. I stuff everything under the bed. Mother being mother knows this hiding spot for clothes and toys. Mother begins to check under bed and pulling out the stuff. She begins to scold me a bit. Excluded name for personal reasons, get super defensive over me from this. In my young mind's eye I could see, excluded name for personal reasons, bopping my mother on the head. Above story just to give some background. Many times these beings are written off as truly being creations of one's imagination, existing in and only within the mind of the individual experiencing it. But from personal experiences, my imaginary friend always produced a presence as if it were coming to me from a distance away, and when it departed it felt as if it were leaving. It never felt instantaneous or anything, and I could be understanding this wrong, but to me it just felt like another being. But honestly I don't know if I was just imagining it or actually experiencing something. What's your take on imaginary friends? Anything you've read or learned about them? What are you experience as a non-Drifag to answer questions? Drifag to provide more experiences related to the above. Be me. Alarm goes off. Turn it off for 5 more minutes of sleep. Half asleep trying to sleep. Go into one of those weird REM sleep modes while still conscious. Feel a hand start to tighten around my neck. WTF Terry's no one here. Scared shitless.jpg. It gets a little more intense. Oh shit, someone is strangling me. Feel myself spasm hard in my sleep. Get hard. The choking stops. Wake up with a throbbing boner. What the hell happened and why did I get hard? Did I upset a ghost? Was it just a throat spasm? What did they mean by this? Other than the weird / gore / fucked up shit we've all seen including myself, I will post something that happened to me that I think is weird. Be me, around 2012. Every day I play Minecraft with this guy I don't know who lives across the country. We team up and build a base on a multiplayer server. This all lasts a couple months over a summer. We become friends on Facebook, where I have like 2 pictures of me because my mom was strict. Sort of develop a crush on him because I think he's attractive and he's older than me. He definitely isn't interested in me. My mom gets mad at my brother one day and she turns internet off at our house for a weekend. I go to library to play Minecraft on the computers. Log in and the guy is super mad at me because our base got raided while I was offline. Sad because I was 13 with a crush and he's super mad at me for some retarded reason. He kicks me out of his team and I never speak to him again. I also delete Facebook sometime later because Aunt won't stop sending me stupid Facebook game requests. Years later, around 2016, go on Omegle with video for fun. It's the fucking guy that I played Minecraft with, his video on too, saying he knows me, telling me my Minecraft username, telling me his username, and imitating what I used to say to him in the game in a derogatory way. I'm so dumbfounded as to how he knows me and remembers all that. Nope the fuck out and leave Omegle. I try to understand this a lot. The only thing I can think of is that he recognized me from the 2 bad quality pics I had of myself on Facebook, that had long since been deleted. But that had been 4 whole years before the Omegle thing, where I looked vastly different since then. Pretty much started and completed puberty in that 4-year span. No clue how he recognized me. Good morning /x/. I hope you are all having a great day, and if not, I hope it turns around and gets better. I come to you with a request. I would like to hear or read your first experience, or at least, the first experience you know had a long-lasting effect on you. As I am making the request, and that stories are all the currency that a board like /x/ has, I will start off with an event that happened to me. It made me a believer. I just remembered this while I was in the shower, and caught the scent of my grandparents' house. It was a typical old person smell. None of my shampoos or soap smell like they did. I do have a hat from my grandfather that still smells like him if I bury my nose in the top. It has over a decade after his passing and my stewardship of it. None of that is related, just what started this. Be me. Be in about the 7th grade. Late 90s. Had a dog, Black Lab, and he was always on a metal leash when he wanted to go our front. Live in a Burbish area but still, classifies as rural. I didn't live in the center, but if you want a somewhat narrowing of the area, Gun Jesus used to come to my hometown, hasn't since the owner of the auction house died while coming back from an auction of his own, heart attack, pulled over and didn't involve anyone else, good man, knew him personally, anyway. Dog was a psycho, would flip his shit if you said the word squirrel, and put his head through a couple windows going after them. Do not know how, but dog got off the leash. He was a lab mix, not pit, but was stronger than other labs I have had. He would not cross the busier road in front of our house. He was hit by 2 cars on that road, in a bang-bang kind of play. Heel earned. My family started walking around our neighborhood to find the dog, having ruled out half the town.